Hello, welcome back to First Chapter Friday. I am going to read the first chapter of Born Naughty, My Childhood in China by Wang and Tony Johnston, published by Penguin Random House. I will do my best with the pronunciation, so please forgive me if I pronounce anything incorrectly. I am trying my best. Here is Chapter 1 of Born Naughty, My Childhood in China. The Bigness of Water. When I was young, I lived with my family in a mud house so tiny we barely fit inside. Our house had just one room, filled mostly with the bed we all shared. My mother, Ma, Die, meaning father, my two younger brothers, and I. In this small space, we ran into each other all the time. Our village, Nanbaji, was in Inner Mongolia, part of China. It was so little it was not even on a map. It had about 18 houses close together and a tiny store where we could buy things like soy sauce, salt, and matches. My village was beautiful. The clouds so pretty, the sky so blue. On one side, Na-ba-ji was touched by a desert whose name I did not know. I never saw the desert, but I felt the sting of its sand in the time of wind. On the other side of the village, low hills scattered with bushes and grass watched over us. To earn more money than he could in our village, Die worked in the far place making bamboo steamers for cooking food. Except for rare times when work was slow, he was not home until the new year came. Because we had so little of it, water was a big thing. To save it, my family drank hardly any. Ma set most aside for cooking and washing clothes. We took baths once, maybe twice a year, and shared about 3 cups of water each day for washing hands. I let my hands get very dirty before I washed them. But Ma's big rule, always before we ate, we had to wash our hands. All our family, but mostly Die's father, Grandfather Zhao, who lived near us in a house even tinier than ours, was always thinking about water. He longed to see the great bigness of waters he had heard of, the big waters of the sea. So he called him Grandfather Ocean. He was short, thin, a bit bent. When he smiled, his eyes looked like shiny moons. When he spoke, his voice was soft and slow. So wise, so calm, he brought calmness to everything. In our village, many people had 2 names. One that everybody but family used, and a special one that only family called you. Grandfather Ocean was in charge of giving us our special names. Of course, they were about water. My first brother, 6 years old, was Ha-jun, meaning Ocean Navy, for strength, a power name. My little brother, age 3, was Hai-bing, meaning Ocean Coast. For a beautiful thing, 8, was Hai-yan. This is a bird flying over the ocean, a white one called a sea swallow because Grandfather Ocean had read a book with that bird in it. I loved that name. It is so pretty. I also love my other name, Jin. Our village had only one well, and it gave little water. Very early each morning, maybe at 4 o'clock, people lined up for their share, but mostly we went to a far town for water. No matter where it came from, we had to boil the water before drinking it or become very sick. About once a week, somebody went on a water trip, except in winter, when snow lay on the ground. Snow we melted for water. Families took turns going to the water town. This year in late spring, Die was visiting, and he was the one going. I began begging to go too. Please, can I go? Please, please. I made my eyes very pleading like a puppy's. No, Ma said, for I would be riding in our wagon with a big wheel right behind me. She was afraid I would jump off before the wagon completely stopped and be crushed by the wheel. I will not jump off too soon, I promised. But Ma also feared that with so many people in the far town, I would get lost. Die would be filling a big water tank. He could not watch me. Then I worried Hai-jun would get to go because he was a boy. If you let me go, I will work the bellows to keep your cook fire going, I told Ma. A very hot job. I held her hand, swinging them back and forth. I will even watch my brothers tonight. Then I would have to carry Hai Bing a lot, so heavy. Ma knew that I did not like to do that. At last, she said yes. I danced all around and hugged her hard, hard. I was going on a water trip. I was going on an adventure. I won't read any more of the story. However, I will read the front flap of the book. What was it like to grow up in a small mud hut in Inner Mongolia? Just ask Jin. She says that life was hard, but it was also awesome. Here's a year in Jin's childhood, filled with tree climbing and ice skating, mushroom hunting and potato planting, and lots of shenanigans. Join Jin in her tiny home, where everyone sleeps in one big bed, even sometimes the lambs, and the wind howls like a wolf through the windows. And despite your differences, you may discover that you and Jin are a lot alike, and mischief lives in us all. Check out Born Naughty, My Childhood in China from the Alameda Free Library, and I will see you next time.